You see that a lot throughout the book. That was a realization he kind of comes to at the end. It's still something he struggles with a lot towards the end, but he's trying, which as for a 16-year-old, that's a lot. That's good. Salutations, friends. My name is Brianna Sikiyama Bond, otherwise known as No Ordinary Scholar, and Meet Cute Diary. This was actually an anticipated read of mine for 2021, and I enjoyed it, unlike the last half of the year's reading. But I enjoyed the book, and you know, there's something I wanted to talk about, just have a little bit of discussion about. Before we get into that, let me first break down what the book is. So you have this trans boy Noah, who his family's moving literally across the country from Florida to California, and his parents drop him off with his brother who's starting college in Colorado for the summer while they try and figure out where they're gonna move. Noah has this blog called the Meet Cute Diary, in which it's presented to be a place where trans people can submit stories about their own romances and give hope to other trans people. You know, let them know that love for them is out there. But Noah writes all of the stories himself. Yeah, they're all fictional. And a troll has started figuring that out and is posting that the Meet Cute Diary is a complete fake, and it's been a super important part of his life, the diary has been. And so everything feels like it's imploding when you have the troll coming after him. So he's just desperately trying to figure out a way to save this blog that's been incredibly important to him for the longest time. And he happens upon it in the form of this motherfucker named Drew. Drew happens to figure out that Noah writes the diary because Noah writes a story about their meeting, and he's like, oh my god. Drew figures out that Noah writes the diary and agrees to fake date Noah to help, you know, prove that the stories that he's writing are true and, you know, help save the diary. Frankly, if you want to find out more, and you should because Dylan's perfect. If you want to find out more, you should both go read the book and then also check out my stream on Meet Cute Diary that I did on one of my channels. I've been flip-flopping about where the book streams are gonna be. We are permanently in this channel now, but you know, was trying to find myself for a while. But frankly, that is all honestly more than you need to know for what we're discussing today. If it wasn't clear from my little summary, Drew, that rat bastard Drew, that motherfucker I've literally never wanted to physically punch a character in a book more, Drew is the primary villain of this story. But there is a secondary villain that I just want to like throw out there and like discuss for a moment. Highlight bar book, like big banner. I am not trans. I am not the voice for the trans community. I cannot speak for the trans community, and I'm not trying to. But there's just some behavior in the book that I was just uncomfortable with. It bothered me. And that is Noah's parents. So zooming in from like the general summary, zooming in to the situation I specifically want to talk about with Noah's parents. So they drop him off to stay with his brother. Noah doesn't really have a place to sleep at all in his brother's place. He's sleeping currently in the closet. Which,
like, was this supposed to be as ironic as it sounds? Because I think so.
Noah's currently sleeping in the closet of his brother's place because there's just nowhere else for him to be. You can't convince me that those parents did not go up to see the brother's apartment because just parents want to see where their kids are staying when they go off to college. That's just, you know, tends to be part of the the whole deal. You can't convince me that their parents didn't go up to his brother's apartment to see what it looks like. They should know that Noah's gonna be got nowhere to sleep.
Like, their only excuse is if they were expecting these two boys, one is in high school, the other is just starting college, to sleep in the same bed, which they weren't. They couldn't have been. Especially as one of them had a girlfriend who probably sexually active. Like, no, there's no excuse.
And yet that was just, they still just kind of dropped him off for the whole summer, for 3 months. To me, it really feels like, because what happens in the story is Noah comes out as trans to his parents right when they, like, it seems like they say, we're moving to California. And in that same breath, Noah says, I'm trans, and comes out to them. And it really reads to me like his parents didn't know how to be around Noah. They were a little hypersensitive about like it's, I want to say it's like a cis anxiety, over dramatized anxiety of misgendering him or calling him by his dead name. And because of that, they wanted to just drop him off somewhere else so they can like have time to process it for themselves and practice even on their own before bringing Noah back. I want to discuss more about this at the end, but now I want to talk about the other major issue I have with their behavior towards Noah. Another situation that comes up with them, just out of nowhere, they gave Noah a credit card to use for food and travel and all that stuff. And you have Noah just out of nowhere, the card is declining. So he calls his parents and they're like, oh, you've been using it for like shit ton of Lyft rides and stuff like that. So you've overdone the limit. We cut you off. My issue with this here, and like you'll see, what pissed me off in a lot of like reviews of this book is they make it seem like he what pisses me off and like felt super disingenuous in a lot of the reviews you'll see on Meet Cute Diary, particularly on Goodreads. I'm not gonna say this is them being intentionally disingenuous because they just want to talk shit about trans kid, but a lot of people make it seem like Noah has this consistent just $50 a week allowance, and then his parents just stopped giving him allowance and he threw a temper tantrum. No, he's in a completely different state from his parents. He has this credit card that is his only means of getting any form of necessities, and they just cut it off without telling him. And they cut it off, and I have no idea how they're expecting Noah to now get food, because again, he has like no other means of paying for things, of having money and getting like necessities, without his brother now taking on that responsibility of paying to ensure that Noah was gonna get food and paying to make sure Noah survived.
And this is a reminder that they cut it off at the beginning of the 3-month trip.
What bothers me about this is it really seems, again, like they just threw a credit card at him, and like because they're uncomfortable with the whole situation, they didn't discuss any of the responsibilities, any of the like expectations with the card. Like no one told him, hey, get a bus pass or something like that, or use public transportation if you're going a far distance. No one said anything like that. No one was checking up on the card and saw like, oh, this is starting to get a little out of hand. Let's have a discussion, give him a warning, and then proceed to see how the situation unfolds. Like they don't even call to tell him, hey, you get no more money. And like there's just so little communication that these parents are having with him, and especially when it's like literally preventing your child from having the ability to get food. It makes me really uncomfortable. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Circling back to those reviews on Meet Cute Diary, the reason why it's so hard to think that these are like genuine interpretations of what happened is because it's literally not even like that's even kind of how the book phrased it. The book said, hey Noah, you spent this much money, and these people in the reviews literally took that and then divided it by every week in like 3 months, by the number of weeks in 3 months, so divided by 12, and we're like, okay, clearly that means that this is an allowance that they regularly get, and it's that's a lot of extra work you're putting in to still misinterpret it. Funny.
And another thing that like really like I heard it or read it and I was like I don't like that, was Noah is on the phone with his mom and he's talking about like how he's like seeing and kind of talking to a boy, and mom says the same reproductive rules still apply. And this feels I hated reading that sentence. It feels like how do I even describe this? Marlon Bundo needs to help me figure out how I'm even supposed to describe this feeling that I have. But like in my heart of hearts, I don't think his mom would have said that prior to coming out. I feel like that is specifically the way she phrased it, as to ensure like it's that almost like trying to tell Noah, yeah, you feel like a boy, but you're not really a boy, which makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable and so upset. For the record, safe sex is the phrasing that absolutely should have been used in this situation. You should have just said safe sex. Remember to be safe. Make sure you have condoms, something around to that effect. That should have been what was said. And like this, what happened here is just telling me that these parents truly, like, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what to say. They aren't 100% like, not, I don't want to say comfortable, but like used to and normalized with the concept of transgender people. And that, I think, factors into like the idea that they just wanted to, you know, get some time to process. And what I want to say is, I do not, this video is not me trying to shame them for being concerned about potentially misgendering or dead naming their child. I think that's important and something you should like want to, like, those are things you should want to value in your interaction with your child. But what I'm trying to say is the bar is low. That should not be the gold standard. You should not need to distance yourself from your 16-year-old in order to find a way to be comfortable and interact with them and accept them in their trans identity. It doesn't mean that Noah's parents are bad people. It means that trans kids deserve better than that. It means that we as a society, and this, as the book presents this family, that is not where progress should stop, and that's not where progress should be headed. Progress should be going beyond that to the idea of, my child can sit in a room with me, like, can come out to me, and I can just, like, we'll continue our lives, but with their proper identity. You know? Again, that's why I say they're a secondary villain, because I do think it's like their discomfort and avoiding actually interacting and talking with Noah has led to some solid neglect of this child. But it's not because they're not trying, you know? Like, they could be worse, but like, we want to be better. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please go check out some of my other content. I'm sure there's stuff you'll love. Hit the subscribe button so you know next time that I post. If you like my books, keep an eye out for book number 3 of the Queen of Thieves series. These are available for purchase on Amazon.com. Links are down below. And And if you want to support me even more, maybe got $5 like weighing you down every month, I got you. Check out my Patreon. Over there, you can subscribe for as little as $2 a month, but once you start getting $5 a month, you get a lot of cool things. You get all of my videos early on this channel and my vlog channel. Links will be available to that as well. You get the notes that I take on all of my book streams, including the stream I did on Meet Cute Diary. And in terms of the books that I write, you get to be a part of the pre-release premieres where I will be releasing the books episodically on Patreon along with some behind-the-scenes stuff. If any of that sounds absolutely amazing to you, please go check out the links down below. And until next time, Valedictions friends.